Hello, everybody. It is Mike Young with aPlantBasedDiet.org. I am a lifestyle nutritionist, and I've got this crazy book here about living to 150 years old and the fact that I think everybody should be able to do it. But of course, you need to know all the habits, all the things that you need to do in order to be able to make it there. So, what's this chapter on? This chapter is on listening to your body. And believe it or not, this is another key chapter in terms of determining exactly what you need to do in your life. You need to listen to your body. And the human body is a machine. All right. It's a well designed and hopefully well oiled machine, but in most people, it's not. And kind of one of the premises here of this book is that if it is a well oiled machine and you actually treat it like that, then you will be able to live to about 150. That should be your life expectancy, again, which is about double what it is these days. Because think about it for a minute, most people, they're not living in well-oiled machines and they still make it to like 75, 85 years old. So what does that mean to listen to your body? Well, let's go and let me mention first that I'm not a doctor. I don't practice medicine, but I will tell you what to eat and even some habits that you might want to do in your daily life. And you might realize that that makes all the difference, because I do believe it does. So let's get into listening to your body. Have you ever considered the idea that disease and sickness is simply your body telling you that you're doing something wrong? And I've talked to others recently about these topics, and they've equated it to like the check engine light on a car, right? When the check engine light comes on, it doesn't tell you exactly what's wrong, but tells you something is wrong, right? But something like that, check engine light. And basically, this kind of revolves around the idea that you just got to get out of your own way. You've got to, give your body the conditions it needs to thrive, because it's always seeking health, always. And the only reason in almost every case, not all, but in almost every case, at least 75% of all issues, I do believe, and this has been proven, are self-inflicted lifestyle choices, and the resulting medical problems are only there because of the poor lifestyle choices. Now, were we ever taught these things growing up? Were we ever even taught this concept growing up? I don't think so. And that's a problem, because I'm recording this video here in May of 2022, and it's still not common. What I'm telling you right now, you still may never have heard this in your entire life. Nobody may have ever told you this. And if no one ever told you this, then should be a revelation for you, because what it means is that if you have some type of medical problem, let's say you've got circulatory problems, you've got carotid arteries, you've got heart disease, you've got type 2 diabetes, you got high blood pressure, you got even cancer, you got eczema, you got I don't know, chronic fatigue syndrome, lupus, MS, goes on and on and on and on. Okay, all the things you could think of that were not caused by some other vehicle smashing into you or some kind of ridiculous trauma like that. Okay, they're probably the result of every single choice that you've made up to this point in your life. And you don't just sit here and tell me, oh, it's genetic, everybody in my family has this. No, genetic may or may not be the case. Let's say it's not the case. It's probably because of all the habits you learn, because you were raised in the same house as those same people who have similar genes. So that would be habits, right? Or let's say it is genetic. Well, have you ever considered the fact that genetics give you certain behavior tendencies, which are your choice ultimately, whether you follow through on them or not? And being a human being, you can choose something else instead. All right. This is a big difference between humans and animals. Although animals are sentient and so are humans, is this reasoning ability. Okay, you have this. I know that you have this. You wouldn't even be watching this video right now if you didn't have that. So when you take all this into consideration, you realize that you are in charge of your health. If you want to, you can choose to take control of your health or not. And if you're living on maintenance pharmaceuticals and you're suffering all the time and you have to go into regular doctor's appointments all the time, short of some massive physical trauma, okay, which I I'm not going to say you could have avoided. You may not have been able to, or let's say you pushed your body to the absolute brink and it's just shutting down now. Short of those, there's still something you could do. Actually, there's plenty. In fact, there's way more than you can do than you ever may have even considered before watching this video. And it is likely to happen in far less time than you could ever imagine, as long as you're serious about it. I'm talking a couple of weeks. So what do you do with all this information? What do you do with these concepts that I'm talking about right now? Well, let's think about it. Unless you are in a state of like a pillar of health, where not only are you not taking maintenance pharmaceuticals, you're not needing to go to regular doctor's appointments, you don't have some undiagnosed, because a lot of people do, undiagnosed underlying conditions. If you don't, then you're probably doing most things right. But believe it or not, you can still fine tune. So I encourage you to watch the rest of this book, because each chapter is on a different concept that you can fine tune. And everyone needs to keep learning. I'm always learning. That's why this book may never end, actually, because it's going to keep having chapter after chapter after chapter as we learn more things. But take away some hope from this chapter that if you're in a state of poor health, really consider the fact that it is nothing more than your body trying to get your attention. And it's not going to stop until it gets your attention. Not only your attention, but then you're going to have to act on the attention, because once it gets your attention, you're going to realize, oh, I think maybe I shouldn't be doing this, or I need to do this instead, or I need to do this because I wasn't doing this at all before. And believe it or not, a lot of this is going to come back to the food. The food is very complex. It's very complicated. Some people are allergic to certain foods and some people aren't. And even getting rid of that as a factor, there are still an incredible amount of complexity to eating the right foods to optimize your health. So just please consider all this. This is pretty much the end of this chapter. But if you don't understand this concept, and if you don't even give yourself some possibility that there's even a little bit of truth in what I just said, you may not want to watch any of the rest of the chapters of this book because you're probably not going to get any better. I mean, I'm actually very sad to say that. That's not a thing I should be smiling about or happy about. I'm just trying to laugh because it's very sad that most people, really, if you think about it, if what I'm saying is true, most people are just living in a state of misery that they have chosen for themselves and have decided that they're not going to do anything about it. All right. So I hope that you choose to keep watching the rest of this book and learning. And I hope that you have some positive results. And if you believe that this is true, please write down in the comments, I believe. Just type it in, I believe. And then I'll know that there are some people out there besides me that believe this, because you're not going to hear this in almost every case by going to your regular doctor out there. This is just something that's not really taught or practiced. And the next chapter is going to explain why. So hang on for that next chapter. It's coming up next. Thanks so much for watching. If you got some value out of this, be sure that you like the video and of course subscribe and keep an eye on this playlist. Remember, our link to all the videos is below. It's liveto150.org, liveto150.org. It's Mike, lifestyle nutritionist, signing off. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.